You won't believe your eyes when you see what spectacular supervillain we're showcasing today. Mysterio, the malicious master of illusion, is one of the coolest supervillains around because he doesn't need super strength to be a threat to heroes. He's all about using his cunning mind and his revolutionary illusions to make people believe what he wants them to believe. Though many have worn the fishbowl, the original star behind the role of Mysterio is Quentin Beck, ex-Hollywood special effects artist who uses his film expertise to control the narrative. And today we're going to give Beck what he's always wanted: the spotlight. Let me know your favourite Mysterio story in the comments, and get ready, because we're about to bear witness to the menace that is Mysterio. Mate, the cover of his very first appearance literally calls him the greatest villain of all. Stan Lee must have had good taste. We begin in Amazing Spider-Man issue 13, the debut of our favourite fish-bowled felon. Only this wasn't actually Quentin Beck's first appearance, because they'd later claim he was one of them masked aliens that helped the Tinkerer in issue 2. But anyway. Oh my god, Spider-Man is stealing from the bank. I've looked up to Spider-Man since I was a little boy. How could he do this? Surely this can't really be our friendly neighbourhood hero. Oh no, he's using webs to escape. It is Spider-Man. Oh now 80% of this YouTube channel's singing this man's praises. How could I have been so foolish? I'll bet J. Jonah Jameson's jumping for joy right now. But wait, here's Spider-Man now, in his civilian identity of high school bookworm Peter Parker. Peter knows he didn't commit that crime, or at least he doesn't think he did. Spidey's showcase of power during his heist has Pete believing he may have developed a split personality and actually done the crime in his sleep. Spider-Man is so worried that he almost spills all his secrets to a psychiatrist before getting wise and running away. This strange situation already has Peter's life in a spiral. Usually he'd go out web swinging to get his mind off his troubles, but he can't even do that now that Spider-Man's a wanted man. New York has turned on its young hero. And with a burst of smoke, he appears at last. Mysterio, the hero New York needs. This caped crusader cannot stand by while the webbed menace terrorizes the innocents of New York City, and so he orders J. Jonah Jameson to print a challenge to Spider-Man. Meet Mysterio atop the Brooklyn Bridge, if he wants the truth about himself. The amazing Mysterio vanishes in another cloud of smoke, leaving JJ and his crew baffled. Peter must be some kind of masochist, because even though the Daily Bugle is dedicated to mugging off his second identity, he still reads every bloody issue. Seeing Mysterio call him out, Spidey races to the bridge, where the fish-bowled new foe wastes no time, starting a fight. Whatever Mysterio is, he seems to be able to counter anything Spider-Man throws at him. He dodges his fists and even somehow melts Spidey's webs with a gesture. Mysterio even turns to smoke to batter Spidey from all sides, while remaining himself untouchable. How can Peter defeat such a foe? Well, he can't. Spidey takes a dive, leaving Mysterio the winner of their first true battle. Even though Spider-Man evaded capture, Mysterio is hailed as a hero and quickly becomes the talk of the town. Parades are thrown. The wall-crawler's still at large, but Mysterio is already planning his victory speech. When the webhead is completely destroyed in their next confrontation, Mysterio plans to reveal his identity for fame and glory, and, of course, money. For a supposed man of mysticism, it's science that proves to be Mysterio's downfall when Peter Parker slyly plants a spider tracer on him, allowing Spidey to choose the time and place of the next battle. Tailing Mysterio to an old movie studio, Spidey strikes. But he's still no match for Mysterio's strange powers. Getting a bit cocky, Mysterio reveals that it was him, disguised as Spider-Man, who committed the crimes. A master special effects artist in a previous life. The man behind the mist had framed Spidey so he could gain the public's affection by beating him. Studying Spidey's powers gave Mysterio all the knowledge he needed to counter him. Using his special effects expertise and dramatic flair, he would become the magnificent Mysterio. It wasn't mysticism and magic, it was all illusions and cutting-edge technology. But in revealing all this, Mysterio's hunger for recognition is his downfall. Spider-Man recorded his confession on a tape recorder. Mysterio makes a move to destroy Spidey's evidence, but with Peter's mind at ease with the truth, he knows what has to be done. This fight doesn't go as well as last time for Mysterio. Look how fun this fight scene is as they're like jumping up and down a movie set. I like this panel, looks like Mysterio's driving Mars to escape Spider-Man. But there is no escape for this illicit illusionist. Spider-Man gives Mysterio what he had coming to him, and Mysterio's plan goes up in smoke. This was a great first issue, mate. Mysterio had the city eaten out of his hand, and it would have all gone off perfectly if he could just keep his mouth shut. But that's what I love most about Mysterio. He's loud, he's dramatic. It's like fighting a Shakespeare character. You know he's rehearsed his threats in front of the mirror. There's a funny panel in this issue, it's got nothing to do with Mysterio, but I just want to bring attention to it, where Aunt May is like, Peter, you're not worried because we have no money and might soon be homeless, are you? Well, Jesus, May, if he wasn't before, he is now. So that was Mysterio's first strike against Spider-Man, and it didn't stop there. Next, we have one of the craftiest plots I've ever seen. Spider-Man's already shown he can outmuscle Mysterio easily, so Beck decides to make his next move more psychological. This is the day Spider-Man goes mad. In this story, the twist of which I've already spoiled by mentioning Mysterio's involvement, begins when J. Jonah starts asking the citizens of New York their opinions on Spider-Man, obviously only planning to print the negative ones. Jonah gets approached by famous European psychiatrist Ludwig Reinhardt, who says he can use his psychiatric expertise to prove that Spider-Man is a dangerous lunatic. Of course, Jonah's very happy to hear this and sets up an exclusive interview. When Peter hears this news, he's worried that the stresses of a double life might be getting to him. What if Reinhardt is right? Peter suits up to talk to the doc, hoping he can prove Reinhardt wrong. Spidey spies on Jameson, hoping to find Reinhardt, but before he can see Ludwig, a different kind of doctor appears. Dr. Octopus? Octavius strikes without warning, not even triggering Peter's spider sense as he lashes out with mechanical malice. But as quickly as he appeared, Doc Ock vanishes into thin air, only to be replaced by the Sandman. Neither sinister foe makes a noise as they frighten Spidey, neither causing any physical harm to the wall crawler. But the antagonistic apparitions do cause Peter some mental damage, as he has a grim realization. Maybe Reinhardt was right, and Spidey's starting to go mad. Another false fight against a suddenly vanishing vulture puts Peter into a panic. Spider-Man fears that he's losing his mind, and he understands how dangerous he would be unhinged. He needs real psychiatric help. Spider-Man gets Reinhardt's address from the Bugle, but when the hero makes a house call, he's given the diagnosis he didn't want to hear. Peter's hallucinations are getting worse, but he's lucky that Ludwig Reinhardt's there to help. Dr. Reinhardt's theory on Spidey's psychosis is that his dual identity is putting too much stress on one mind, and he believes the only way for Spider-Man to stay sane is to reveal his identity and give up. And Spider-Man almost falls for it, until JJ and Flash Thompson burst in. Lucky for JJ, his reporters have uncovered the truth on Reinhardt. He's a fraud. JJ was so close to discrediting the Bugle by printing Ludwig's lies, and seeing Spidey and the Doc together, as though they were in on it together. Jonah gets furious. But Spider-Man's greatest detractor has just accidentally saved his career as Reinhardt panics, triggering more of the ghostly villains to appear. But mysteriously, it seems Jonah and Flash Thompson can also see the sinister symptoms of Spider-Man's psychosis. It's not all in Peter's head. Spidey snatches Reinhardt and unmasks the Doctor as, you guessed it, Mysterio. That tricky Master of Illusion's been using his sly special effects in an effort to deceive Spider-Man into giving up forever, a plan that would have worked had Jameson not spoiled his fun. What a cheeky plot that was. When you deal with Mysterio, you can't even believe your own eyes, because here, simply well-timed lies almost ended Spidey's career forever. Beck didn't even wear his fishbowl for this one, choosing a more delicate approach, but clearly, Subtlety won't take down Spider-Man, so for the next attempt, Mysterio's going big. Perhaps my favourite caper from the Master of Illusion. This one's an absolute classic, from the Amazing Spider-Man issues 66 and 67. This is the madness of Mysterio and to squash a spider. Our malevolent magicians had it up to here with that annoying arachnid Spider-Man, and he set up an Oscar-worthy masterpiece of a plan to ensure the wall crawler never interferes in his business again. The instrument of Spider-Man's demise is not a blade or a bomb, it's this tabletop model of an amusement park. This, paired with the new psychedelic effect of Mysterio's helmet and a strange technological cannon, will win Quentin Beck the victory this time. But before he can kill Spider-Man, Mysterio needs to find him, and so he devises a dramatic crime sure to attract the attention of the web spinner. Mysterio strikes again. Appearing in a burst of smoke in the street for maximum effect, Mysterio pushes that nerd Peter Parker out the way, exclaiming he has no time for nobodies, before vanishing as quickly as he appeared. But Peter, secretly the amazing Spider-Man, can still Spidey sense the confusing criminal enough to track him down. Or he would have if he hadn't have been distracted by a pretty girl. But Mysterio has plotted and planned for months. Unwilling to wait another second, Mysterio cracks out the real threats. Beck hijacks the TV signals to show off the destruction he plans to unleash on New York City, daring Spider-Man to come and stop him, if he can. Challenging his enemy to a showdown, Mysterio summons Spider-Man to the site of Beck's first defeat, intending it to also be the site of Spidey's final one. Not willing to back down, Spider-Man swings into action. And at the movie studio where Spider-Man first defeated the Master of Illusion, their greatest battle begins. Mysterio makes sure that Spider-Man's attention is drawn towards the amusement park model before darting towards his strange cannon. Sensing danger, Spidey leaps at Mysterio only to get tangled in his cape, opening the hero up for a full power blast. Mysterio's strange weapon takes Spider-Man's breath away as a dark cloud swirls. Disorientated and gasping for breath, Peter's vision finally clears as he realizes, somehow, to his horror, he's tiny. Spider-Man is now spider-sized. Trapped in the model amusement park as Mysterio, now essentially a giant, winds up for the killing blow. Fortunately for Peter, he still has his spider speed, ducking and weaving to dodge the Goliath gloves of Mysterio. Just as the villain has Spidey on the ropes, he vanishes. But why would Mysterio pull back when he's so close to destroying Spider-Man once and for all? Because it's not enough to physically crush Spidey. He wants to drive the hero mad first as punishment for ruining Beck's previous plots. Spider-Man's a sitting duck out in the open. He needs to hide, to buy time to make a plan. He rushes off into the shadowy amusement park, hoping to find a dark corner to catch his breath. But the model park is more than just a toy. It's riddled with traps, all set to give Spidey anything but amusement. Tumbling into a hall of mirrors, Mysterio must have seen Star Wars: A New Hope because the walls begin closing in on Spider-Man, and the webhead can't simply smash through them because the glass has been coated in poison. Mysterio's left nothing to chance. But Spidey does manage to smash through the mirrors without being cut thanks to his trademark webbing, forming a shield around him. But one trap dominoes into the next. Mysterio's gauntlet of terrible tricks has Spidey sweating. Barely surviving a pitch-black whirlpool, Spidey surfaces in a house of horrors sure to make his radioactive spider blood run cold. Death traps, animatronic monsters, killer carnival games. The creative criminal mind games of Mysterio leave little hope for Spider-Man's survival. The sinister showman won't give Spidey a second to collect himself, and the hero begins to wonder, why? If his plight is as hopeless as it seems, why keep him on the run? We get one of those always spectacular moments where Spider-Man decides, no matter how desperate the situation seems, he refuses to give up without a fight. No one can win every battle, but no man should fall without a struggle. Add that to the list of badass Spider-Man quotes, put it right underneath the one about winning only mattering when the odds are tough. Mysterio starts to sweat underneath his fishbowl. He didn't think Spidey would last this long. Perhaps the Master of Illusion is running out of tricks. Our web-headed hero's done running now. He slings himself at the monumental Mysterio, theorising that if he truly is tiny, he'll be no harm to the giant villain. So when Mysterio still fearfully fades out of the way, it confirms Peter's suspicions. As always with Mysterio, the situation is not what it seems. Suddenly there's hope in Spidey's heart again, as Peter's mind fills in the blanks. He realises Mysterio had drawn his attention to that model amusement park. It was all a way to plant the idea in his head. It was all one grand illusion. And this is proven when Peter tracks the villain down to his control centre. With Mysterio's lies, and now a few of his bones shattered, Spider-Man burns his gear and leaves Quentin for the cops. But you'd be foolish to believe that this is the last you'll hear of Mysterio. Every single time Spider-Man fights Mysterio, it's fantastic. Beck's special effects mastery means anything is possible, which makes him the flashiest villain of them all. Stories with Mysterio have endless possibilities. You can have Spider-Man suddenly on the Titanic or in the Wild West, and it's all easily explained by Fishbowl Man's presence. The only limit is the writer's creativity. He's unique in that he's not just some guy with animal powers, not to talk crap about guys like Rhino or Scorpion, but this distinction means you never know what he's going to throw at you. His first plot, where he tried to trick people into thinking he's a hero by framing Spider-Man, what a clever scheme. The people were already at Spidey's throat thanks to the Bugle, so using the public sentiment for his own gain really shows his shrewdness. I do think what Mysterio truly wants is attention, not just because of how he dresses, but his first appearance was all about how he wanted to be worshipped. He's Spidey's most dramatic bad guy to the point of almost parody, as he curses Spider-Man like a stage actor. How can anyone not love this scenery-chewing lunatic? Back before Disney released Homecoming, I'd hoped they'd use this issue as the basis for the first MCU Spider-Man film. We could have had the new hero Spider-Man disowned by Iron Man after Civil War because he's been framed for crimes by Mysterio, who, as the villain, could have been discrediting Peter because he wants his spot on the new Avengers. Of course, we did get Mysterio later on in the MCU, and he was pretty good, but like with every Spider-Man MCU film, it's the mischaracterization of Spider-Man that drags it down. The issue where he mentally tortured Spider-Man to near madness, shown as pure callousness. If not for Spider-Man, Mysterio would be seen as a hero, and Beck wants him to pay for stealing his chance at glory. But that final story, what a masterpiece. Mysterio had Spider-Man on the run, using nothing but set pieces and misdirection. I honestly think Stan Lee was right, all the way back on the cover of issue 13, when he said they created the greatest villain of all for all Spidey.